In the middle of the night, a man wakes up to go to the bathroom. Suddenly, two burglars break into his house. He grabs a golf club and tries to call the police, but they spot him. One of the burglars points a gun at him, forcing him to drop the phone and demanding money to save his life. The man says the money is in a dish on the table, but it's just a small change. The thieves are not satisfied. They steal the man's watch, but one of them accidentally reveals a tattoo on his wrist. Right at this moment, the son unexpectedly fought back, wrestling with the other thief. The man took the opportunity and raised the golf club. He could have taken the thief down, but he hesitated, not striking, and instead ordered his son to stop being reckless. The kid let go of him. The wife, hearing the noise, ran outside. Seeing her husband so weak, she could only beg the thieves to take whatever they could, as long as everyone was safe. The two thieves cursed and left. The man quickly locked the door. His cowardly actions baffled his son. "Dad, what's wrong with you?" Even the cops mock him, sarcastically telling him to lock his garage better next time. Resentment boils up inside his wife. Why did she marry such a coward? This drives an even bigger wedge into their already strained marriage. They even use a pillow as a divider when they sleep. But is this man a coward? Not at all. His name is Hutch, and he used to be a top CIA operative. 20 years ago, on an assassination mission, he disobeyed orders and let his target live. Later, this target turned his life around, got married, had kids, and lived happily ever after, which deeply impressed Hutch. So, he also decided to retire early and live a normal life for the past 20 years. Every day, he's on time for his accounting job and comes home on time to cook for his kids. The dull life has worn down his marriage and dulled his edge. Until today, when the two burglars broke in. Hutch chose to back down to protect his family, but it made his son think he was a chicken, and his wife judged him for it. Only his little daughter still loves him unconditionally, always hugging him before going out. Hutch silently endures it all. After his family leaves, he angrily throws away his unfinished breakfast. The neighbor heard about the break-in at Hutch's house and boasted that he was lucky the thieves didn't come to his place. If they had, he would have taught them a lesson. Hutch's brother-in-law, who works as a security guard at the same company, disdainfully handed Hutch a gun, telling him to protect his sister and his kids. Hutch took the gun and casually tossed it into a cookie box in the fridge. Faced with countless doubts and ridicule, Hutch didn't care. He was just protecting his family in his way. Back at the office, he locked the door tightly and opened a secret radio hidden in a cabinet. Inside, the voice of his contact, who was also retired like him. Word about last night spread like wildfire, and the contact wanted to know what went down. Hutch said the thieves were a guy and a gal, both around 30. The woman was holding an old gun that hadn't been fired in ages, plus the chamber was empty. That's why he didn't make a move, even though his family was safe. The whole thing left Hutch drowning in sadness, and the beast inside him was about to be unleashed. That evening, when he got home, his daughter said her kitty cat bracelet was gone. She'd left it in the loose change dish, so the robbers must have swiped it. His daughter was in Hutch's world, and he couldn't take it anymore. He stormed out and went to the nursing home to see his dad. From a box, he pulled out his dad's expired ID, a stack of cash, and a handgun. Seeing his son regain his form, a spark lit up in the old father's eyes. Hutch went from tattoo parlor to tattoo parlor, searching for a man with a bird tattoo on his wrist. Shop after shop said they'd never seen it. He kept asking everyone. This tattoo parlor owner seemed to have a shady past, and the old soldier beside him was even more sharp-eyed. The tattoo parlor owner glanced and recognized that the ID was expired. Plus, the photo on it wasn't even Hutch. He thought to himself, "Trouble's come knocking today," and raised his brass knuckles. Two huge guys behind him itched to start a fight. Hutch calmly took out cash, saying he just wanted to find someone, not start trouble. The old soldier sees the playing card tattoo on his wrist and immediately salutes, saying, "Thank you for your service to our country. You were also an old comrade." The old soldier locks the front door and closes the iron shutters. The tattoo shop owner instantly gets it. The guy in front of him isn't someone they can mess with. "What can I do for you? I'm looking for this person." Following the clues, Hutch arrives at the target's house. The thieves are a Mexican immigrant couple. Hutch doesn't say much. He immediately smashes the man's head with the butt of his gun, demanding they return the watch and the kitty cat bracelet. The woman hurriedly returns the watch, but they genuinely haven't seen the bracelet. Hutch is furious and seems ready to teach them a lesson. He shoves the man to the ground and loads his gun. Just then, a baby's cry is heard from the next room. Hutch opens the door to check. Turns out, the couple's child has a congenital disease, and they were stealing just to pay for their child's treatment. Hutch immediately puts his gun away and decides not to make things harder for this family. But he had all this pent-up rage and nowhere to put it. Helpless, he could only punch the wall hard. The scene shifts to a bus. Since it's the last bus of the night, there are only 3 passengers on board. Hutch is sadly heading home, thinking this burning anger will never get a chance to explode. Then, out of nowhere, a car cuts off the bus. A few drunk guys stumble out, clearly wasted. They pound on the bus door like crazy. The driver, with no other choice, opens the door. Hutch sat in the last row, a joyful hymn echoing in his mind. Drunkards boarded the bus, carrying bottles of liquor. They snatched a book from a passenger's hands and stomped on it mercilessly. Knowing the futility of arguing with such unruly people, the passengers swallowed their anger and walked away. The drunkards didn't let up, continuing to tease a young, innocent-looking girl. Hutch, with a strange smile, stood up and walked past them. The girl looked at him with pleading eyes. Hutch walked straight through the bus, took the phone from the driver who was about to call the police, politely asked the girl to get off the bus, and closed the door, staying behind himself. He pulled out a revolver and emptied all the bullets. "I'm going to kill you all." The big guys burst out laughing, thinking just one of them was enough to take on this old man. The dude with the braided hair went first, and Hutch stood firm, taking a punch. He needed to feel the pain to unleash his wild side. Then, he took 2 more punches before he started fighting back, pushing the braided hair guy down and throwing a punch in return. The 6th guy tried a sneak attack, but it turned out this guy's head was harder than a fist. One by one, the drunks fell. Their buddies pulled out a knife, taking Hutch by surprise and stabbing him in the side. He powered through the pain and countered with a punch. But these guys were playing dirty, and they all jumped in, dogpiling him. One against many, Hutch got kicked away. But the drunks weren't doing much better. Some were seeing stars. Others had bruised faces. However, that was just a warm-up. He wrapped his watch around his hand and yanked the knife out, which was buried deep in his flesh. Now, it was time for the main event. Hutch, like a caged beast finally set free, went on a rampage, attacking the drunks with a vengeance. Sensing defeat, the drunks desperately tried to hold him down. 4 of them combined their strength and threw him off the bus. They were groaning nonstop. One had lost his teeth, another had a broken nose. Hutch struggled back to his feet, staggered back onto the bus, cut a seatbelt, and tied it to his arm. The girl seized a chance and ran off the bus. His face turned savage, like he was ready to tear them apart. Those drunks were about to meet their maker. They charged at him, but Hutch was ready for all of it. He fought like a whirlwind, laying waste to them all. One guy tried to sneak attack with a gun, but Hutch didn't even flinch. He snapped off a handrail, swung it to knock the weapon away, and then rained down blows on the guy's head. The thug fell to the ground, gasping for air. It looked like his windpipe was crushed. Hutch didn't want to kill anyone. These guys didn't deserve to die for what they did, so he grabbed a soda bottle from the floor, used a knife to make a slit in the guy's throat, and stuck a straw in to help him breathe. Tonight, Hutch finally let out 20 years of pent-up rage. However, trouble was brewing, because the thug with the crushed windpipe was the brother of Yulian, a Russian Mafia boss. The doctor said his brother's brain damage was too severe, the situation wasn't looking good, and there was a high chance he wouldn't make it. Yulian, in a fit of rage, grabbed a chair, stormed into the next room, and without a word, threw it straight at his brother's friend. He demanded to know what exactly happened that night. When he found out that this useless bunch was taken down by just one man, he couldn't believe it. One guy against all of them? What a joke! Yulian flew into another rage, repeatedly smashing the chair against his henchman's leg. He knew his brother was a rotten guy, but you can't choose your blood, and he had to get revenge for his brother. The guy with the braided hair found the other man's bus pass, and it had blood on it. After working out his muscles last night, Hutch was feeling much better. His son asked about the cut on his face, but Hutch didn't explain. The others had it way worse. He told his son he was really brave last night. His son was bewildered and wondered if his dad had taken the wrong pills this morning. Just then, the phone rang. The contact called. "You've stirred up some serious trouble. One of the guys you beat up last night is Yulian's brother." The call lasted over 30 seconds and could be traced. The contact told Hutch to go see the barber. He'll tell him who Yulian is. At first, Hutch didn't pay much attention and just went to work as usual, but that whole day he was like a zombie, completely out of it. In the afternoon, the contact texted him again, urging him to go see the barber, saying, "After you meet me, you'll thank me." Hutch gave in and went to a barbershop, which was a hub for exchanging intelligence among secret agents. The barber handed him a dossier, and this file revealed that Yulian was a dangerous guy with a lot of resources, who was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, basically a major villain, and on top of that, he controlled hundreds of millions of dollars in liquid assets belonging to the Russian Mafia. It seemed like a good gig, but it also meant he would spend his whole life watching over this massive fortune. Meanwhile, Yulian was also looking into Hutch's identity. The bus pass showed he was just an ordinary, run-of-the-mill middle-aged guy. But how could a regular guy take on 6 people at once? Yulian told her to keep digging. The female assistant had a contact at the Pentagon who received a blackmail letter. The blackmailer was demanding that he investigate Hutch's identity, or else they would leak his compromising photos. But after entering the name, the system says he can't log in. He immediately goes to the secret archives and finally finds a file on Hutch. However, most of it is blacked out with markers, and only one word is visible. Acquaintance sent the document to the other person. The female assistant, after seeing it, turns pale with fear. She quickly packs her things and bolts, saying, "I quit. Forget the salary, good luck." Yulian realizes this guy isn't ordinary, so he orders his men to strike first, boasting that they have to capture him alive. That evening, Hutch's family is enjoying a delicious lasagna dinner when they suddenly notice several cars parked across the street. His gut tells him the enemy is right outside. Hutch rushes his family down to the basement, tells his wife not to call the cops, and then shuts the door, ready for a fight. The heavily armed hitmen approach. Hutch flips the main power switch, plunging the house into darkness. The hitmen all flick on their flashlights. They bust in by shooting the lock off the door. Their teamwork is on point, showing they're total pros. But their target is even more of a pro. Hutch, hiding in a corner, suddenly swings a baseball bat, taking down 2 guys. Then he snaps the bat and stabs a guy in the chest with the broken end. Moving like a ghost into the kitchen, he takes out an enemy with a sharp blade and even stylishly wipes off the blood. Hutch uses his home field advantage to silently take down several hitmen, but he's still just one guy facing some seriously unpredictable dangers. A hitman uses a stun gun to knock him out and drags him to the trunk of a car. When Hutch wakes up, his hands are cuffed behind his back. So, he breaks his thumb and easily gets free. Then, gritting his teeth through the pain, he reset his thumb joint. He grabs the fire extinguisher from the trunk, pulls the pin with his teeth, and pushes on the cup holder to spray the dry powder all over the inside of the car. The car loses control and slams into a light pole. Hutch is badly injured and the 3 hitmen are dead. He finds a key to unlock the cuffs and then struggles to get back home. Just as he's about to open the basement door, he realizes the house is full of dead bodies. He catches his reflection in a mirror, his face covered in blood and not wanting to scare his family. He takes a hot shower to clean himself up. The moment he opens the basement door, his wife is shocked. He grabs his wife tightly with one hand and covers his daughter's eyes with the other. His son seems to not believe this is his dad's doing, but the truth is right there in front of him. Turns out, his dad has been hiding his true self all this time, waiting for the right moment. Hutch gets his family into the car and tells him to go stay somewhere else for a few days. His wife wants him to explain everything, but now's not the time. He just begs her to trust him one more time. After taking care of everything, he promises to explain it all to his wife. Once the family's gone, he turns on a gaming console, revealing all the assets he's been hiding. He's kicked the hornet's nest, so let the storm rage on even harder. He sets the house on fire, and then takes off in his neighbor's 1972 Dodge Challenger. That V8 9LID engine is a real ground-level rocket. He calls his dad, saying the fight has escalated. The mob might be coming for him. So Hutch told his dad to watch his back. However, his worry was a bit over the top because the old man was no pushover either. Soon, two assassins sneaked into the nursing home, but they ended up just signing their death warrants. One assassin raised a golden desert eagle, but the old man suddenly opened his eyes lightning fast and blocked the firing pin. He jammed the slide with his hand at an incredible speed, then pulled out a shotgun and took them down one by one. The caregiver rushed into the room, but from her perspective, the old man was just watching an action movie. He covers the hitman's mouth with one hand and holds the TV remote with the other. This just proves the older, the wiser. If the dad's is badass, the son's not far behind. Hutch uses a few dozen gold bars to buy a construction materials company, getting ready for the coming battle. He sharpens bullets, stuffs nails into glass bottles, modifies hidden weapons, drills holes to bury grenades, and loads up the office with guns and ammo. Then, carrying a gas can, he storms the Mafia's headquarters alone. You could say he's killing anyone in his path, like a god of death. In just a flash, he wipes out the Mafia's hitmen. He pours gas into the fire's sprinkler pipes, triggering the alarm so gas floods the money vault. Now that's what I call making it rain. Then he lights a match, and $100 million instantly turns to ashes. The scene cuts to a nightclub. Julian's on stage, belting out a song, lost in the music. Hutch is calmly eating a steak in the audience. Julian walks up to him. He's impressed the guy had the guts to walk into his turf alone, but Hutch isn't just reckless. He came prepared. On the table is a claymore mine, powerful enough to level the whole place. Hutch has a demand. He wants a private word with Julian. Julian orders his goons out of the room, and the two daredevils face off for a chat. Hutch gets straight to the point. The hitmen Julian sent are all dead, and not only that, but he also burned all the Mafia's dirty money. As far as Hutch knows, Julian also wants to ditch that mess. Now's their chance to call a truce. Each go live the life they want and stay out of each other's way from now on. Or they can have an all-out war tonight. Hutch drops a warning. He'll be waiting outside for Julian's decision. But Julian's a kingpin. How can he let someone provoke him like this? What kind of face would he have left? Hutch, carrying the mine, calmly walks through the crowd and then gets in his car to wait for news. He silently hopes Julian will stand down so his men can be spared a few lives. Julian chose wrong, and the primal instinct within Hutch erupts. Hutch floors the gas pedal, spins the car around, and charges into oncoming traffic, facing Julian head-on. The two lock eyes, full of killing intent. The ultimate showdown is about to begin. After a heart-stopping chase, Hutch successfully lures the enemy to the construction materials company. Julian fires his submachine gun, a bullet piercing Hutch's shoulder. He collapses to the ground as the enemy keeps shooting. If nothing changes, he'll be riddled with bullets. But right then, the glass above shatters. A black rifle barrel appears in the window. His contact, Harry, has risked his life to come to the rescue, providing cover with an M24 sniper rifle with an 80 power scope. Each shot took out a bad guy. At the same time, the old man showed up with a handgun. Like father, like son, fighting side by side, under the powerful covering fire. The two safely made it into the factory. The old man cursed. Goddamn, I miss these days with bullets whizzing by. Tonight, we're gonna have a real party. The father and son split up to attack, catching the enemy off guard. Hutch hit the button on a pressing machine, crushing a grenade. The lead assassin died a gruesome death. Harry set up his sniper rifle on the stairs and took out another guy at close range. When the enemies rushed in, they accidentally triggered a trap. The three remaining guys were sent flying, dazed and tumbling. Harry, like an angel of death, takes out two guys with one shot. Who cares if it's scientifically accurate? It looks awesome. The last guy gets tangled in steel wire. Harry fires a nail gun, sending the hitman flying out the window for a perfect scene transition. The old man still got it, moving and shooting with precision. Gunshots ring out, and enemies fall one by one. Hutch fights his way back into a room. It seems like he's trapped, but actually, it opens up a whole new world. Behind the door is a secret mechanism. When the enemies all rush in, he decisively lights the fuse. The chain reaction is explosive. Finally, the three reunite. Slow motion shots combined with a mellow soundtrack kick in. This is the kind of romance men appreciate. The hitmen are all wiped out. Only Yulian is left standing. This guy isn't just lucky to be the boss of his territory. He's infamous for his cruelty. With just a submachine gun, he almost turned the tables. But he forgot the rule that the bad guy has to die. The three are out of ammo and can only hide behind machinery. In this desperate moment, Hutch pulls out his last Claymore mine. He's decided to risk it all for the win. He tapes the mine to a bulletproof glass panel, using it as a shield as he charges straight at Yulian, a grenade pin in his teeth. And he's made up his mind. Yulian is going down for good. Hutch, radiating main character energy, gets away with only minor injuries. After the battle, the three can't help but admit they went a bit overboard this time, but they have to agree it was epic. For guys who've been retired for so long, to pull off a counterattack like this makes their lives feel complete. Hutch lets the other two escape first and stays behind to clean up the battlefield. The FBI takes him in for questioning. The agent asks him who he is. Hutch silently lights a cigarette and says, "I'm just a regular guy." Right then, the two detectives get a call. The tension spikes. After a 30-second silence, the detectives hang up one by one. This regular guy has one hell of a background. He's not someone they can mess with. The movie ends here. A movie's value is in its reputation, and a review's value is in the feeling. That's it for today's story. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the film? Let me know in the comments below.